In the dense woods of Black Hollow, where birds hesitated to sing, a crooked path led to a forgotten lighthouse that hadn't touched seawater in over 100 years. Locals whispered about it, how it glowed on foggy nights though the sea had receded miles away, and how strange, distant bell tolls could be heard echoing from its tower. Few dared approach it, but curiosity, as it often does, found a victim. Caleb Harlow was a photographer drawn to the eerie and the unexplained. When he heard the stories from a bartender in nearby Black Hollow town, he was hooked. "It ain't on the coast no more, but that light burns something fierce when the mist rolls in," the old man had said, eyes dark with memory. They say the lantern keeper still walks even though he's been dead since the sea left. Armed with his camera and a stubborn disregard for caution, Caleb hiked the tangled woods under a pale moon. By the time he reached the lighthouse, a blanket of fog had descended over the hollow, coiling through the trees like cold fingers. The structure was crumbling, red brick blackened by soot, iron railings rusted through. But sure enough, a pale yellow light flickered atop the tower, sweeping the land in slow arcs as though still guiding ships to a long-vanished shore. Caleb climbed the worn spiral stairs, his boots echoing through the silence. The light above pulsed like a heartbeat. He raised his camera, snapping photo after photo as he ascended. The lantern room was empty. No bulb, no power, no machinery, just a single oil lamp hanging in the center, gently swaying, glowing with unnatural life. And beside it, a man stood. His back was turned, and his coat was long and dripping wet despite the dry air. A captain's hat shadowed his face, and his hand rested on the chain of the lamp. "Caleb froze. Sir?" he managed, voice cracking. The man turned. His face was a horror of waterlogged skin and empty eye sockets, as though the sea had taken everything from him but the memory of watching. Yet the spirit spoke. "You're not lost," it rasped, voice like shifting sand. "But you will be." Caleb stumbled back, slipping on the damp steps, falling hard. The light overhead flared, then dimmed, then vanished entirely. When he awoke, it was dawn. The lighthouse stood silent, no lamp. No man. He scrambled back to town, shaken and half mad, clutching his camera like a lifeline. But every photo he'd taken, hundreds shot in the tower, were blank. Except one, the final frame. It showed the lantern room in full detail, lit by an otherworldly glow. And standing by the lamp, his face turned full to the lens, was the lantern keeper. Behind him, hundreds of ghostly faces pressed against the glass, wide-eyed and pale, as though trapped in the light. Caleb left Black Hollow that day and never spoke of what happened again. But some say he returned once more, years later, on a foggy night, camera in hand, and was never seen again. And now, when the mist thickens in the woods and the wind smells like salt, the old lighthouse begins to glow. And sometimes, if you listen close, you can hear the soft click of a camera shutter and the low tolling of a bell guiding lost souls home.